Hey everybody, welcome back to Chakra Healings. Long time no talk. I know it's been 3 months since I did an episode. I've just been going through a lot of things, and I did lose my confidence and drive, which I know is not good to do because you have to push yourself to do things, even when you don't feel like doing them. But it was either I give it up completely or I start back now, and took a little break, and now I'll start right back where I left off. So today's episode, I thought we would talk a little bit about grief. It's something we all experience in life, as much as scary as it can be at times. Death is something we all experience, and we experience our loved ones passing away, and it's not an easy thing to talk about or even know how to deal with. I can speak from experience. My grandmother recently passed. She had dementia, and it slowly progressed and got worse, and it hit me, pretty hard. I know I've probably shared before that I struggled with substance abuse in the past, so a lot of other deaths, like close deaths that I experienced, I was so used to, numbing the pain with substances, so I had to, figure out how to deal with this grief without doing that this time. And many times I've missed funerals and stuff just because I didn't want to deal with it. I couldn't deal with it. I didn't know how to deal with it. And I'm trying to be a different person. I don't want to do that anymore. I showed up for my family. I got up and read in church, as hard as it was, but that's what you do. You be strong for your family and you push through, and you get those cries out when you need to. I'm a person who very much likes crying alone by myself, with nobody around me, so I got to do that. And yeah, I just want to talk about this a little bit because, like I said, this is something we're all going to have to experience. If you haven't lost anybody close to you yet, eventually we do, and it's unspeakable to even say in words, but I just want everybody on here to remember that we all deal with grief differently. And something somebody told me, a very awesome lady that I met along my journey, she said, when I saw her and told her about my grandmother passing, she said, don't let anybody tell you how long you're allowed to grieve for. We are all entitled to grieve in whatever way we want and as long as we want. And it's okay to cry. Like, cry alone, cry with your loved ones, do whatever you need to do, but just try to, deal with grief in a healthy way. Don't do what I did in the past, doing drugs or substances to not feel, because it only makes worse things happen. I'll just kind of share like my experience, how I dealt with it, just showing up for my family, as hard as it was showing up. When I got that phone call that she wasn't doing well, she had fallen, and when I went and saw her, I think that's when it all hit me really hard. I was like, oh my gosh, like, she's really passing. Like, I knew it was happening eventually with the dementia, but when she fell, I thought, oh, she just fell, maybe got hurt, she's going to be okay. And then when I got there to see her, that's when it all hit me, and I realized, like, there's not any time left. And it was hard, and it's still difficult. I'm still trying to deal with it, but I just keep what helps me a lot is I keep remembering that she's with God now. She's in heaven. She's at peace. She doesn't have to suffer with dementia. Who wants to live like that? That's no way to live. And sorry, it's a lot to process. Like, I wanted to talk about this because I think it's a topic that needs to be more talked about, but it's also like, it's hard to like even know the right things to say, because I don't know how to fully deal with it myself. But something I've done is, I knew I couldn't let myself fall back into depression. That's one of the most important things, because I was starting to get there. I was overeating. I didn't want to do anything, and it's okay to do that for a couple days. It's okay to grieve however you need to. It was just like watching shows and you know, listening to music. What have really helped me is like podcasts. Like that's why I do this now. Listening to Joyce Myers. She's, you know, Christian preacher, and her podcasts have really, really helped, or are really starting to help change me to grow into the person I want to be. Because she struggled with so many things, and you know, it took her till her 60s to finally be at peace in her mind. And I don't want it to take that long for me. I want to get it now. Am I there yet? No, but I'm trying to get there, and I'm doing everything I can to get there, to live a more simpler life and stop overcomplicating things and over obsessing about things, and just trying to give it all up to God. And that's what's helped me the most is prayer. So that's another thing when you're grieving. Pray to God, pray to your loved one. That's what I've been doing, talking to my grandma. Grandma, I love you, I miss you, I know you're at peace up there, and I know you're with my other grandma who I love dearly, and Poppy, you know, like that. I'm just trying to give anybody out there like struggling with grief or that lost a loved one, like different healthy coping mechanisms to deal with it. So I'll just share what I do, forcing myself to do things even when I want to. For the first couple of days, I didn't do anything at all. I gave myself like a week, which maybe might have been too long. I'm not going to overthink it. That's what I gave myself, a week to just do nothing. Barely cook, come home, maybe cry a little bit if I need to, and watch a TV show, which I'm usually a very productive person. I did still go to the trainer. I went to the gym. I didn't stop with that, but like all the other things, like I was like, I'm not going to burn myself out. I even took a break from classes for a semester, and I've been very hard on myself about that. But guess what? I took 2 classes this summer, and I just know, try not to take any more breaks. But sometimes we all have to take a break. I took a break from this podcast. But I know this is something I'm passionate about, and I could have just let it completely, like I said, go away completely. But then when I was at my grandmother's funeral, I had a God moment. Shout out to, I believe she's my cousin too, my mom's cousin, Raylene. I appreciate you supporting and listening. And I felt God speak through her, and I couldn't help but cry when she came to me asking about the podcast. Like, I didn't even know that there was distant, you know, family members who were listening. And she said, you know, it's a calling, don't stop. That hit me hard. I felt like that was God speaking through her. Like, okay, she was like, so you took a break, so you get right back to it. And she's so right. Why would I stop doing this? I'm doing this for a reason, to help others and to share my story with others, and hope that maybe it can inspire them in some kind of way, or maybe something I share will be a tool that they can use. That's why I work in the mental health field. That's why I do these things. But when we get into self-doubt and judging ourselves and hard on ourselves, like I do all the time, oh, I'm not good enough. That is how I look at it, is that's the enemy trying to get in my head, because the devil, he doesn't want me to do great things, but God wants me to do great things. And if you don't believe in God, that's okay. Whatever God is for you. Okay. But I believe in Jesus. I believe in God. And I can't thank that woman enough, because guess what? That just reminded me, like, this is a calling, and I'm not going to give up. And she was the one who even suggested, why don't you do a topic on grief? And I'm like, oh my gosh, thank you. That's an amazing idea, because I don't even fully know how to deal with grief myself. But guess what? I did it this time. Other times I didn't deal with grief in the right way because I didn't know how to. But this time I feel like I truly dealt with it in the best way I could. And I could have stayed depressed and upset about it, but I keep remembering that she's at peace now, and she's in heaven, and one day I'm going to be up there with her and join her. And she lived a long, good life and got to do many things. The one thing I wish I could have done for her, she always wanted to go back to Ireland. I wish I could have afforded to take her back to Ireland. That's why I have to do these things, this podcast. I have to do what I can to make enough money so that I can bless other people and bless my loved ones. That's the biggest goal of this. And if it doesn't go anywhere, so what? At least I'm doing something I'm passionate about and hopefully helping, you know, some people out in the world. But I just want to say, if you're grieving, give yourself time, give yourself patience, get in therapy if you need to, talk to somebody. I'm so blessed and lucky that I work at a counseling center in the mental health field. So I had therapists who are my friends who were just there for me, talking to me, and even just talking, to friends and family too. Like, we can all be therapists to each other, honestly, in this world. If we care about people and we want to help people, like, we all help each other. That's what it's about. But I'm blessed enough that I work in a field with people who are like-minded like me and want to help others. So they were there for me. They supported me. My job gave me flowers. Nobody's ever given me flowers, ever. I've never, maybe when I was a kid, my parents got it for like a dance recital or something. But it felt nice to just feel that love and that warmth. And I wasn't myself for a couple of days, but they gave me the patience, to get back to myself. Because even before my grandma passed, as it started getting bad, it was painful for me seeing her like that. Like, I wanted to spend all the time with her. I would have her over for dinner, cook with her, and we had so much fun. But then toward the end, when it started getting really bad, it hurt. It hurt to see her in pain and suffering. It hurt me a lot. And it hurt my aunt, who was taking care of her every single day and refused to put her in a nursing home because she always said that she never wanted to be in one. And my aunt did so much for her. And she was doing God's work. And my mom and my uncle helping, taking her, like, they, it was hard towards the end, like taking care of somebody, who has that disease when it starts getting really bad. But they did God's work. They did not give in and put her in a nursing home. They took care of her and made sure that she got to enjoy her last days with her family. And I love you guys for that. And Grandma, I don't want to start crying, but sorry. I know Grandma's at peace knowing that, and knowing her family loved her and took good care of her. She's up there, our guardian angel now, with us every day. So Grandma, I love you. And sorry guys, I didn't mean to get deep there, but that's what happened. Just need a moment to center myself. So that's just another thing I want you to remember too. If you've lost a loved one, just remember they're your angel, and they're always with you. And one day you're going to be with them again. That's what I want to tell anybody out there grieving right now. That's what I remember. I know my grandma is my guardian angel, just like my other grandma, because I get little signs and stuff. Look out for the little signs, little messages. With my grandma, my other grandma that had passed away, it's a dime. Anytime we find a dime, we know it's her. And dimes will come flying out to me. Like, one time one just came flying out at the car when I was having a rough day, and I was like, thanks, Grandma, I know you're here. Just like, do little things that remind you of them. Something I would suggest, I guess it depends if they're buried or cremated. My grandma, my other grandma that had passed away, she was buried. So just like going to their grave and visiting. My grandma now that just passed, she was cremated, but my mom has the ashes. So I can go there, light candles, and pray and, honor her, or put some of her favorite things. Like, I think my mom said my aunt her best friend got her a gift with like this glow up crystal with my grandma on it, and she put the ashes right by that. Like, that's beautiful, something like that. So if your loved one was cremated, you can just get something nice, to put it in, and put all their favorite things around it. Like, my grandma loved Ireland and Irish songs. That's why we all wore green, to the funeral, or just try to have at least one green thing to like represent her. So just do something to represent them. So if you have, like I said, they're cremated, then you keep it up on a nice shelf in your home with things surrounded that person loved. And same thing if they're buried, you go to their grave and put things that they loved or enjoyed, on their grave. That can help with dealing with grief. Or also, like I said, praying to them, talking to them, letting out a good cry when you need to, meditating. Meditation really helps a lot with like stress and anxiety, depression. It's really helped me a lot. Meditation and prayer are so important to me. Journaling, writing out your feelings, writing a letter to them. You can talk, whatever works for you, or through art, painting a picture of the loved one that passed. Doing things that they enjoyed doing to represent them. So like my grandma Ruth that passed, like keeping her traditions still alive. My aunts do it, baking the things that she baked, doing the same things that she did. Like she would take us to the Berlin auction all the time, or Marshall's was our store, like doing things like that person did, and keeping their traditions alive. That's another good way to deal with grief. If they were a baker, bake the stuff they baked. That represents that person, and then wearing the perfume they wore, it reminds you of them. With my grandmom, she loved peonies, so like having that type of flower, like there's so many things that you can do to make grief more of a beautiful thing than a sad thing. Because that person wouldn't want us to be sad. Our loved one would not want us to suffer and be depressed and sad and destroying our own lives. They would want us to be happy and just know that we're going to see them one day. And that's what I try to remember when depression wants to hit, or when because when she first died, I'm not going to lie, like I was feeling all kinds of crazy things the week leading up to it happening, and I was feeling a lot of paranoia and like fear of death. Like it really hit me, like, oh my God, we are all going to die one day. Like, how am I going to die? What's going to happen? Is it going to be scary? Like, but I can't let fear take over, because it's going to happen to all of us, and however it happens for me, that's how it's meant by God. And I can't stress and overthink about things that I don't know, or that are out of my control. I can just enjoy my life while I'm here, because time goes so fast. If I haven't realized something so much as the older I get, is when you're a kid, it feels so slow, but as you get older, it just flies by. And I'm like, if I keep sitting here letting depression and anxiety take over and feeling sorry for myself or sad about things that are out of my control, then how am I going to enjoy my life and fulfill my destiny? Like this part of it, like this podcast. And then one day I'm going to get older and I'm going to be on my deathbed, and like, what legacy did I leave for myself? What legacy did I leave for my family? And that's why I'm going to keep doing this. And I'm not going to let depression take over. I look at it as I just took a break. I had a lot of things going on. I'm not going to explain them all to you guys, because it'll take too long of an episode. I don't need to explain every little thing. That's something I struggle with sometimes, is like over analyzing and over explaining. So I'm trying not to do that. I'm trying my best to just get to the point of what I'm here to talk about and help you guys about, which is grief. So I really hope I was able to give some like good feedback and advice to anybody out there struggling. You can always reach out to me. Reach out, call somebody you love, talk to people. Do not isolate, because I love to do that sometimes, and it's not a good thing to do. You have to talk about it. And if you don't want to talk about it, write it out. Or like I said, pray to that person, talk to them. Do your hobbies even when you don't want to. You can give yourself like a couple days or a week, but don't give yourself longer than that to stay in depression, even if you're grieving. Because like I said, our loved ones want us to be happy and live our lives to the fullest. Our loved ones who passed, they don't want us to give up. So don't give up. Keep going. It's hard, it's rough. It's not going to be easy, but that's what we're all here for, to help each other through those times, through those rough times. So just reach out and do whatever you can to just keep yourself happy and enjoying your life, because even if we lose a loved one, there's other loved ones in our lives that need us to be strong and keep going. Especially if you have kids, say you lost a child. I can't even imagine the pain of that, and I don't even want to. But maybe you have another child or another person in your life, they need you to keep going. Don't give up. And I know it's easier said than done. But that's why it's always good to know that therapy is an option too. Going to support groups for grief. Like, there's so many things out there now. Like I said, listening to podcasts, and we just have to utilize those tools. We can't give up. We have to do everything in our power to keep going, and you will eventually get through it. There's no timeline on how long it's going to take to get through grief, especially grief. Like, that's one of the hardest ones. There's no timeline on it. But if you do any of those things or all of those things, and you don't give up, like, eventually you will get through it. And you will come out stronger. So yeah, again, guys, I'm I'm excited to get back to this, and you know, it feels good that I did this today and that I'm not giving up with this podcast. And I appreciate all my supporters out there listening, and the point of this is I just want to help you guys, and I love doing this. But yeah, I love you all. Talk to you soon.